Generic greetings and welcome back once again to Prison Architect. Today's beverage is a very refreshingly chilled lemon and lime soda. So welcome back to the game and the Extreme Testing Initiative. This is the part of the series where we run certain events and induce certain behaviours within the facility that may or may not occur naturally to put it through its paces and do a bit of testing. So things like have all the prisoners riot or fight or run out, whatever you fancy really. And yeah, we're going to see how we get on. This is the recently completed contraband catching facility, and without trying to be, it's also probably one of the most profitable and probably one of the best when it comes to reform. Let's say without us even trying on that one. We finished off in the last episode by putting in a bit of farming. It was a sort of just last touch type of thing. The parole room is definitely in the wrong place, but you know, we covered on reasons why for that one. Anyway, what we're going to do now is see what happens when, like say, we induce certain behaviours within the facility. Over to staff here, and I'm going to go with an instant jailbreak. So this is where every single inmate is going to try to get out. Now what I'm going to do here, and I don't often do this, is I'm going to go to lock down all sectors. The reason for that is I do believe that this is going to be a fairly big weak spot, even though we do have obviously a lot of guards around here with tasers and stun battens, and there is a couple of gates and doors getting out of the facility. This is the only way in. I just think the sheer amount of prisoners charging over here might become a bit of an issue if I don't lock this, and the door might actually just open up anyway. So yeah, let's see what happens. So we can see that there are we're going to have to do guard response here as well. We can see that there are, oh look at that, so that's not what I wanted. So this door just opened up, I think because of the visitors. But anyway, we can see we do have some amount of escapes here. We haven't brought in any emergencies, but I am going to bring in a couple of riot police and the paramedics, because I do think that this door is only going to last a certain amount of time, and then basically, yeah, they're going to get out. Now we knew this was going to be a weak spot, and yeah, it is very, very much a weak spot. So we've brought in the trained staff here, and we're going to bring them down. Now obviously I'll have to do something similar again for the other ones, although this is the only one where they are, you know, desperate to get out. The other ones are like rioting and fighting and well, being armed with all manner of things. So 25 people have escaped so far through the main door, so it's not all terrible. In fact, it's only about maybe 25% of the total facility, actually less than that. So it actually held up fairly well, considering we do have, like I say, only a couple of doors and a gate. Normally this reception is in the middle, so they've got a lot more like sort of ways to run out. We could obviously put in like a sniper tower here if needs be, but yeah, that is apparently what happens if everybody wants to try and get out, and well, apparently it is sort of successful. Anyway, we're going to turn off the lockdown. We don't need that one, and I think we'll load it up and see what happens if people are going to fight. So we're getting loaded up around the same time. Over to staff and to the instant fight. Now, I'm not really entirely sure what's going to happen here. In fact, I did select fight, but it's went straight to a riot. That's interesting. Okay, so we can see there's a couple of deaths. We've got inmates taking over certain areas. So we've got the cafeteria on both sides are being captured by, like say, the inmates. We've got other ones that are just sort of punching and hitting and running around and such. And we're now back to 66 on prisoners rioting. Is the chapel taken? No, often for whatever reason people charge and take over the chapel. Not too sure why that room in particular, but there you go. And we're down to 50 prisoners rioting. Obviously they're not trying to get out. There might be the odd person that was sort of ran this way, but looks like they've got a lot of handcuffs on. Considering the entire prison kicked off, it's only had 5 deaths so far. I expect that number to go up, but let's see, we're down to 33 inmates, 32. Let me just go to max speed and see how we get on. So that's 9 deaths there, 10, 11. It's not a failure state. I think it'll be alright. And the riot is pretty much ended now, so there's still only a couple of prisoners rioting. Eventually there will be some guards taking this over, and it's finished off at a total of 12 deaths. That actually might not be true, because there might have been some healing, which it doesn't really account for that one. But obviously we can see that obviously the guards have stopped all of this. There's been much carnage in both of, oh no, mainly just the left canteen. I don't know why, and it's mainly these guards. Obviously the guards have got body armour on, they've got tasers, got stun battens, etc. So yeah, apparently if the entire prison fights actually not a lot happens. However, what we can see, if I go over to intelligence and informants, we've got lots and lots of people in the solitary, so that would be a bit of an issue. We'd have to go and probably alter some of this if we were obviously playing on the standard mode. So that's fine. I'm going to obviously try now a instant riot, but I expect exactly the same thing to happen. Let's see. So once again on a load, and we're going to have an instant riot. Now, previously we said instant fight, and it basically had the same sort of thing. So riot is underway. It was about 110 prisoners, I think, and it's already gone down to 90. Now, the big difference with this one is they're not the instant fight. They are trying to fight and smash stuff up, whereas the riot, they might just be jumping around and, you know, like say, rioting in these. So not necessarily more violent. In fact, it'll probably be a lot more passive, I say, as this guard has been knocked unconscious. There's the first death. I don't know where that is. It's probably over here. You can see we've got guards fighting. We've got Bling the guard dog fighting as well. We've got Haley. We've got Eli. We've got people getting healed in the middle there, which is pretty good. And already this is a lot more passive than the previous one, which doesn't much surprise me. I was actually surprised just how many people were rioting in the last one. That was the main takeaway. Let me just go to max speed here, and we're already down to, no more riot. Okay, so we only had 2 deaths, which was, much better than the previous one. A lot less damage, but there'll still be a lot of people that'll be in solitary. If we check out intelligence, we've got people all the way around in these ones, which, like I said, we did expect. It's just par for the course, really. But yeah, okay. So far then, the one that is the most... Oh, there's another death. The one that is the most dangerous is if people basically try and run out the front gate. Now, the way to obviously fix that would be to put in... the best way of doing it is actually to remove this door here. Completely remove it and brick this back up. Have the metal detectors here, and then have a door, probably in the middle here, in front of the perimeter wall, and then have a couple more of the road gates and a couple of road barriers and such, and that would probably help out a lot. But anyway, we've seen a run out, we've seen fighting, which also contained rioting, and we've seen rioting that didn't contain much fighting. Either way, there's one more thing that we often test, and, well, it's sort of a bit random. And that is what happens if every single inmate manages to get hold of a weapon. So we've got things like a drill, we've got a shotgun. Let me go over to here. We've got revolvers here. We got, what they're carrying that says a machine gun. That person's got a lighter. Let's go over to here. That's a sniper rifle, shotguns, all manner of things. Have we got any? Oh yeah, there's the short straw that person's drawn. That is carrying a club. I'm not seeing any assault rifles. Oh, there's one there, carrying an assault rifle. So we unpause it, and we can see what the inmates are doing. As far as I can tell, they are just using their weapons to charge out. Now, once again, I'm going to pause that and go lock down all sectors, preemptively call in paramedics and the riot police, and then guard response, and I'm going to say initiate guard response there, because I have a feeling that, like I say, what's going to happen is the inmates are going to get to the door and take that out. So here we go. Let's just see about bringing in all of the riot police. Well, there's the medics and then riot police. I should have brought in the riot police first before setting this off, or at least first before the paramedics. But yeah, first into the fray, as it were. And so you can see what's happening is the behaviour is defaulted to escape, and yeah, they're trying to get out to the front. I've got loads of guards in here, obviously all armed with like sort of stunning weapons and such, and that door has opened up even though it shouldn't have done. So far though, we don't have any deaths, we don't have any escapees, and this person here just says working, so I don't know what's going on there. Either way, considering everybody was armed and was trying to get out the front, we've had 0 escapes. So I can only think then the reason for that is we put the facility on lockdown sooner rather than later, and I brought in the riot police and the paramedics, and they obviously guarded this front, and also initiated guard response. Basically, there was a lot quicker response than the original escape, so that's the only thing I can sort of attest it to. The fact that there was less violence than the fight one is, it's actually quite telling. So even though they've got lots of weapons and tools and such, they didn't use that to take out anybody else. They might have sort of, fought back if someone got in their way, but their goal was entirely trying to get out. And, well, we managed to stop that one. Okay. Well, that's been a bit of the Extreme Testing Initiative. No big surprises, but it's always interesting to do this. And when it comes to... No, that person still had a sniper rifle there. When it comes to escaping this myself, I'm not going to do a separate episode because... well, this. Yeah, it wasn't exactly difficult, was it? Just a brute force approach of just running out the front door. So, yeah, we have escaped from it. It was fairly easy. We just needed to farm a few points and then just get lucky on the whole taser thing. Either way, that's been a bit of Prison Architect and the contraband catching facility. If you have any tips, comments, suggestions for different facilities you may want to see, then by all means let me know in the comments. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thanks very much for watching. Take care. And generic partings.